tell me if this sounds familiar. There's this huge game that everyone's been recommending to you. Your friends won't shut up about it, every YouTuber praises it, and every review is giving it a perfect score. It feels like one of those essential games that you have to play if you consider yourself a fan of video games. So you finally try it, expecting this unforgettable experience. But it's just not clicking. You don't hate it. In fact, you can see why so many people think it's great. It's just not for you. I'm guessing we've all experienced this at some point. It's that feeling when you want to love a game, but you just can't. And it's a difficult situation to be in. There's not really a lot of options. You can brute force it, play it even though you're not enjoying it. But 99% of the time, this just ends up with you wasting a lot of time that could have been spent playing something you would have really enjoyed. The other is to just give it up. Leave that game in the forever untouched, maybe I'll play it one day list, which doesn't feel great either and can make you feel like you wasted your money. So if both of these options suck, what should you do then? Well, I am going to do my best to try and explain that to you, because I do think there's a lot more to this problem than we think, and a lot more solutions than the two that I just mentioned. And I know that they work. I am unfortunately pretty well versed in this topic. If you play enough games, it's bound to happen at least a couple times. But before we get into the how to fix it, let's discuss why it happens. I believe there's a handful of quote-unquote masterpiece games that a lot of people experience this with. Just to name a few I've often heard mentioned, Elden Ring, Hollow Knight, Red Dead Redemption 2. These are what most gamers would consider some of the greatest games like ever made, I think. Then why do such a substantial amount of people not end up clicking with them? There are for sure a number of reasons, and I do think some are more obvious than others. The most clear are those to do with the design philosophy behind the game and who it's created to appeal to. While a game like Elden Ring did break out into mass appeal, the largest barrier for a lot of people who really want to enjoy it is the difficulty. The Souls games have always been made to appeal to fans of more older school style difficult games. And honestly, Elden Ring is probably the farthest from this with how the progression works, but it is still difficult, and intentionally designed that way. So of course, no matter how many people say it's great, some who genuinely just don't have the time to put into mastering a game like this are going to fall through the cracks and give up on it. And in my opinion, this is probably the largest reason why a great game might not click with you. Maybe you really like the style, the story, the characters, but then the gameplay, it's just not your thing at all. This is exactly how I felt with a game like Kingdom Come Deliverance. I'm a huge sucker for a good medieval setting, so like the most authentic medieval setting in the history of gaming? Yeah, that sounds perfect. But then a combination of the very unique combat and realism mechanics just slowly made me stop playing, even though I really love the world and setting so much. With Hollow Knight, lots of people aren't expecting such an open experience and end up getting lost and give it up when they don't know where to go. There are countless examples of this I could talk about. It's the fight between objective quality and personal enjoyment. You know the game is great, but maybe the genre just isn't for you. But what else? I do think hype and expectations also play an important role when you're first starting a game. Overhype is definitely a problem that I think is often understated with really big games, but maybe that will all change once GTA 6 comes out. A lot is riding on that one. The internet is very important with the growth of games nowadays, and it's nearly impossible to go into a game without at least some sort of expectation. You've seen the awesome trailers and raving reviews, and sometimes the game just might not live up to those. And the problem is that sometimes, even though the game is great, this disappointment with how masterful you expected it to be can be exaggerated. And now all the tiny problems are starting to annoy you more than they should. No game is perfect, and you can't go into a game expecting perfection, which is often what hype leads to. You are told exactly how you should be feeling when playing this game. Oh my god, it's so mind-blowing. It's so emotional. It'll change how you see games forever. And then, when you think it's just really good, you feel weird that you're not feeling the same way as all these other people. And worst case scenario, then you stop playing. Lastly, and I think probably the most interestingly, I do think personal context and timing can play a big role in how your experience goes. I'm sure everyone has that one game that just came to them at the right time and the right place, and now it's probably one of the most important games in their lives. While I probably wouldn't even consider Undertale one of my top 10 games anymore, it does still mean a great deal to me for truly opening my eyes to games being more than just games, and I won't forget it for that. However, this can for sure work in the other way too. Sometimes you may just be burnt out on gaming, or just burnt out on life in general, and trying that new game that you're so excited to play just isn't gonna fix that. Don't think you all of a sudden don't like games anymore. You might just need a break from them, or just to get over what's currently troubling you in your personal life. Games are often seen as this reliable escape from the real world, but sometimes the real world bleeds into that escape whether we like it or not. If you can't lose yourself in a game the way you used to, it doesn't mean that you've outgrown gaming. It might just mean you've got something else in your life that needs attention first. Obviously, I'm no expert in this. It is a very personal matter, and it is kind of up to you to know when this is the case. But don't worry, the joy in gaming will come back. That's just part of growing with the hobby. And on that point, let's discuss, is there a way to fix all this? I think in a lot of cases, for sure. There are a ton of suggestions I have, so let's get right into them and hopefully find one that works good for you personally. If you think the reason you're not enjoying a game is because of the intentional way it's designed, that can be one of the harder ones to fix. It's easy to say just switch your mindset, play the game in a different way, but in practice that is much more difficult said than done. Of course, I do think in some cases this might help. You can play games, well, objectively wrong. I think a great help with this can actually be watching others play the game you want to enjoy. Maybe it's just watching the friend that recommended it to you play it for a couple hours, talking with them about it and how they're playing and what they enjoy most when they're playing. Or maybe it's searching up a beginner tutorial on YouTube and taking some time to figure out the basics. If you really want to commit to actually enjoying a game, sometimes just actually seeing a different perspective of the game through a different person can be a great help. I was, at one point, a huge roguelike hater, and while I definitely wouldn't say it's my favorite genre, watching my friends' playthroughs of Slay the Spire and seeing how much fun he has during them really inspired me to give it a good shot, and now it's probably my favorite game in the genre. In terms of the overhype I was discussing earlier, I'll admit it's hard not to have some sort of expectations going in. Games are expensive, and we all have limited time, so you have to expect a good experience. But instead of going in expecting a perfect experience, try to go in with an open mind and think about what kind of experience the game is trying to give you. Maybe it's not at all what you expected, but that discovery can be part of the joy of it. Obviously, avoiding the noise of the internet can be helpful, but that can be difficult. Just be open to games surprising you in ways that you weren't hyped for. And I did briefly say it, but I do think if you really want to enjoy a game, giving it the time it deserves is important, especially with difficult or confusing games. They are made to be hard to master, so if you're really struggling at the beginning, maybe that's how the experience is supposed to be. A lot of games are built around instant gratification and tutorials for every small mechanic and way to play, but this can really kill the personal side of learning. I promise you, you will get better as time goes on. You just need to make sure you stay around long enough for this to happen. And believe me, it will feel very satisfying when it does. There is obviously a difference between perseverance and pure stubbornness, so do make sure you know which one you're doing. But to really connect with a game, sometimes patience is what it takes. On the other end, if you really don't think this is working, maybe you just need to take a break. Just take a few months off and try it again after that. Sometimes all you need is that change in headspace over a few months, or maybe to experience a different game first that really opens your eyes to the genre of the one you really want to play. This is the most applicable point in the video to me. Literally so many of my favorite games I didn't really like the first time around. Bloodborne I finished but really was not a huge fan of on my first playthrough. playthrough because of the difficulty. Then I played Dark Souls 1 and then replayed Bloodborne, and bam, now it's my favorite game. The Witcher 3 really just wasn't clicking with me, and I left it unfinished for months before returning, and now I've played like 150 hours and all the DLCs, and I started reading the books because I love it so much. Hotline Miami 2 I found infuriatingly designed and difficult the first time I played it, and then I went back to it and got A+ on every level, and it's my favorite indie game. If there's something that really hooks you into a game, give it a couple tries and see if that passion stays. But at the end of the day, don't worry about the fear of missing out. I also think it's very important that you don't treat games like cultural obligations. If something isn't clicking, you need to be able to accept that maybe it's not for you. Don't mix up "this is a great game" with "I love this game." Both, of course, can be true, but they don't always need to be. Just because everyone else is talking about this game, you not playing it doesn't make you any less of a real gamer. You can respect a game's artistry and why people love it and just not want to play it yourself. That's just your personal taste. Gaming is such a huge medium with so many different genres. Of course you're not gonna like every single one. Gaming wouldn't be as interesting if everyone did. So I hope at least one of these suggestions resonates with you. I want to finish off this video by discussing probably the #1 game that I'm still trying to find a passion to play. The Outer Wilds. I feel like this is every video game essayist's favorite game, and for good reason. From what I've heard and from the bits and pieces I've played, it does something truly amazing with the interactive medium of games. And I really wish I was able to enjoy this style of gameplay. I've used plenty of the methods above. I've given it its fair shot. Probably about 5 hours at least of exploring and discovering. I've waited months and then tried it again, but nothing seems to work. And that's the important takeaway from this video. Art doesn't affect everyone the same. In fact, a lot of its appeal is how it personally resonates with everyone differently. So as much as I want to enjoy the Outer Wilds, and probably will keep on trying to do so, if nothing comes out of it, I know that it is okay not to enjoy every great game, no matter how much I think I should. And hopefully this video managed to convince you to think in the same way, or better yet, even solve your problem. Either way, thanks for watching. I really appreciate everyone watching and supporting my videos. If you'd like to support me even farther, I did just launch an awesome channel membership thing. So for $1.50 Canadian, you can get access to awesome perks like early videos, amazing handmade badges by me, and custom shoutouts where I will say whatever you want in my next video, within reason. Hey guys, looks like I actually have my first shout out to do in this video. From user Psych537. First of all, thanks for being a member. Second of all, I like your cat ears. Third of all, let's get to your message. I, Adam Plays, vow that my next video will be about the roguelike genre, specifically my thoughts and opinions on it. It will be an in-depth video that will take all of my time and effort. It's an interesting request, although he has yet to watch this video, and I did talk about Slay the Spire in it, so I think his wish has already been granted. He just doesn't know it yet. Anyways guys, make sure to get your shout out in the next video. It has been absolutely amazing since my last video did so well, and I truly cannot wait to have an awesome community to interact with. So thanks again, and I hope to see all you guys again.